simple. To me, Abigail was a delicious poison. An intoxicating, overwhelming poison. Yowie wowie!
What's up, everybody? We're back for another episode of Abby's Window, and this one is going to be very eventful. We got some folks joining us this evening. We've got a little bit of an exclusive, a little sneak preview of something coming up pretty soon. And we got some breaking news.
We do.
So let me bring these wonderful folks on screen and say hello to everyone. So we've got Dom. Dom, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, man, it's good to be back. It's been a busy few weeks, like I was saying, but it's good to be back right here on the Insiders Podcast. Good to see you all, and great to be here.
Yeah, good to have you, man. Good to have you back. And we've got Joe in the house. Joe, what's up?
Hello, everyone. How are you? Rare Monday appearance because I'm on vacay, which is kind of nice. So I'm happy to join. A lot of ironically, a lot of stuff out there today, and a lot of stuff going on, and excited to be here. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, and then obviously we have Abby. Jodie, how are you today?
A lot better than I have been for the past few days.
That's good. That's good. Daily improvement, right?
Yeah, I'll dig into that in a little bit.
All right. And we always have to welcome in the other part of our show, and that's all of you in the chat. Welcome to all of you. We got a lot of people, so I won't go name by name, but I'll just say welcome to all of you. Dom,
Hang on. How are you, mate? How are you doing? You finally voiced Abe. That's as far as it's going to go tonight. But I just want to.
He's got a new title, Dom. He's now the Impact Whisperer.
Yes, he's the Impact Whisperer.
If you didn't already know, he called the Eric Young appearance like 3 days before it happened.
Beautiful. Love it. The Impact Whisperer.
Jeff is the Impact.
The IW. I like it. It's good.
There you go. There you go. The IW of IPW.
Indeed. How are you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm doing okay. It's been a little hectic at work. We've got one other person joining us.
Wow.
Here we go.
It's a party, baby.
Word is full.
Yowie, wowie, what's up, babe people? It is a party.
It's a party.
Dom, Joe, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Jodie, how are you, my dear?
Okay.
Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Good. I just finished exercising before, so I'm a little burnt.
Man, it's a party now. All we need is 10.
I know it's a party. So welcome everyone, all of you in the chat, and we're going to get started here. Jodie, had a very good afternoon, we'll say.
I did.
And she had an interview. She did an interview with Caleb Johnson, and so I guess that's where we're going to start with Caleb's Corner, and Jesse's in the house. So hello, Jesse. So I guess that's where we'll start, right?
Sure.
All right.
So I get to spend a little bit of time with Caleb today, talking about, his upcoming music, how the UK tour went, his horror movies. We talked about horror movies a little bit. Actually ended up talking to him for about 45 minutes, which was pretty cool. We do have, I clipped like a little 1 minute video for you guys, but on top of that, I will let you guys know this is, we're going to premiere this on Wednesday. the whole interview. And in the interview, he gave us an exclusive.
Awesome.
And
That-
I will tell you
That
guys
deserves this.
yeah, so he gave us an exclusive about his one of his upcoming albums, which is I think he's gonna rock your socks off, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be fantastic. So, but my favorite thing that he said in the interview, it was a well-made horror movie is like a roller coaster. And he dug into that a little bit, which was really, really cool. It was a lot of fun to talk to him, but I did clip you guys a little 1 minute like teaser. We did kind of a rapid fire, this or that. And yeah, so I've got that for you guys.
All right. So here we go. Here's that clip.
Okay. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke all the way in a glass bottle.
Okay. Beach or the mountains?
The beach.
Well, then that probably answers my next one. Sun or the snow?
I mean, that's tough. So that's the thing is like, I like the sun, but I also like the snow. So I guess in correlation with the other answer, yeah, I guess it would be sun. Yeah, but I do love the snow in the mountains.
Are you an early riser or a night owl?
I'm a night owl.
Dracula or Frankenstein?
Frankenstein.
Rob Zombie music or Rob Zombie movies?
I guess it's music. Yeah.
Godzilla or King Kong?
It's no brand. It's Godzilla.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's a little bit of Caleb's Corner.
Yeah.
And we will have that interview out for you on Wednesday. So stay tuned to the socials and all that good stuff. We'll get it out there and set it up.
No, Jeremy, I did not get hired as his publicist, but I am I am open to that. No, we did. We had a good chat. It was nice to get.
He looks like a sweetheart.
Yeah, it was nice to get to like know him a little bit better. Obviously, the time that I've spent with him previously, it's been really short. So it was nice to actually get to spend, a decent amount of time talking to him. Gave Jed Shepard a big shout on his ability to think outside the box with his horror movies, and yeah, it was a nice little chat. We had fun.
Yeah, looks like a nice one. That was a
for
lot of fun. I love that stuff. I love those quick questions.
You deserved it, Jody. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good. And
I did praise him at the end. I said, "You got a leg up on Bray now," because I've known Bray for almost 4 years, and I still ain't got him on this show. So, Bray, it's on you.
Yowie, wowie.
I love the T-shirt too, the White Snake T-shirt. That was
Yeah.
awesome. I'm a fan of any hair metal band, so that's always a good thing.
But yeah, we got an exclusive about one of his new albums. So
Very
awesome.
That's so cool.
it's gonna be amazing. Like he went into detail about like the inspiration. He did put out on socials a while ago that it's loosely based on the Book of Revelation.
Oh wow!
He digged real deep into it and talked about like the song titles and inspiration behind it, and it's gonna be like a rock opera. It's gonna be amazing. I'm really excited to hear it.
Maybe it's a concept album. That'd be cool. I love concept albums actually that tell a story. That's awesome.
That's kind of what it does.
Nice.
It kind of goes, and he said, I won't give away too much, but he said like the last song is pretty much all instrumental.
Mm.
Oh wow!
I'm so excited about it, you guys. I can't even. Yeah.
Man, I'm excited to see it. Was it all good? Did everybody treat you well leading up to it? Like, was there a publicist involved and stuff? How was all that?
His mom handles all of his.
Oh, lovely.
Stuff. So really, I sent an email, and we've been kind of going back and forth for a little bit about his availability, and he's a busy boy. So.
Absolutely, I'm really glad you got it done.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's
I
yeah. we had a good chat. It was nice.
It's awesome.
That's awesome.
I wish
can't
I could
even-
tell you guys everything we talked about, but you guys will see it on Wednesday.
I can't even imagine like how you could keep your cool. If that ever happened to me, I think I was laughing with Jeff. If I ever had the opportunity to like interview Paul Stanley or Gene Simmons, I don't even know if I could talk. Like I'd be like fumbling over stuff and everything like that. It'd be crazy.
I
Well,
had
Joe-
like a little cheat sheet of like stuff that I wanted to ask him. Like I asked him why he chose Idol as a platform, and so it helped to kind of have that cheat sheet. And honestly, it's helped that I've like met him before. Like the first time that I met him, it was like the first time I met Bray. I couldn't even walk up to him. I had to pretty much get forced. So now that I've met him and talked to him a little bit, it's I don't know. It was cool though.
That's awesome.
Awesome
It's
stuff.
awesome.
Now, if Bray ever gets his butt on here, I might be fumbling all over myself then. Just a little bit.
Bray ever gets on here, we'd have like 1 million views for the video probably too.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
Then
Yeah.
don't worry, it will happen. I have a huge feeling that it will happen.
well, I mean, Caleb's got a leg up now because he said he promised he'd come on here and he did.
there you go.
See?
That's awesome.
So thank you, Caleb, for having a chat with me. It was a lot of fun, and
Yeah, shout out to Caleb. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So yeah, that'll be out on Wednesday. And we discussed we have a little bit of breaking news. So anytime that happens, it gives me the opportunity to bring this back out.
Hey.
Bray
That
kiss-
is literally,
I love it.
kidding. That is my favorite slide.
I love it. That's genius.
I love it. It's just it's my favorite slide.
So I'm gonna have Joe share the breaking news.
He just wants me to do the I've got some breaking news.
That too.
Wow.
Yeah, so a little bit earlier, as you know, of course, this is from Fightful. They put out their reports and stuff usually around 3-4 o'clock to the Patreon members of their channel, and there was some news about, and I'm guessing that this is on the kind of like a follow up of after what happened with the whole Eric Young thing. So obviously, if you guys didn't know, and a lot of you come out to the Impact streams, but if you haven't, Eric Young has left WWE. He did so because basically he didn't want to stick around, knowing that Vince was back. Took a lot of courage to do that. A lot of times you're walking away from a big opportunity, what people think, and then he went back to Impact Wrestling and just he did have that no compete clause, so he couldn't do it right away. So that's why we never really heard from him. And now it's come out that, and again, this is from Fightful, so all credit to them and Sean Ross Sapp, of course. But it has come out that there was supposed to be a faction. Everybody was talking about the Wyatt Six and stuff like that. I don't know if it was 6, but there was supposed to be a faction that was supposed to come after WrestleMania, and it was supposed to consist of Bray, Eric Young, of course, Alexa Bliss as well, and Uncle Howdy were supposed to be the 4.
Oh, wow.
And makes a lot of sense now when we think about it, because, and I know C talked about this in his video earlier, but you're going back to when that last Funhouse happened, right? Before Bray got ill, and you heard that voice, that very distinctive voice, who was the MC during that game show that Bray did, and it was definitely, without a doubt, Eric Young. He has a very distinctive voice that you can't really miss that voice. So the fact that you heard that on there, and can I keep it, or can you keep a secret? That whole theme of that could have been this faction. And knowing that, the good news, I think, and I shared it with everybody prior to the show, is that it was more than likely going to be against Bobby Lashley and maybe a new Hurt Business. And at least what we saw this past Friday on SmackDown, you saw Bobby Lashley talking to the Street Profits. So, number one, I love the Street Profits, and them being heels would be amazing. So I'm all for that. But the good thing about all this is maybe they're just going to keep it. Maybe they put it on the back burner, and maybe they're going to restart it once Bray does come back. Now, of course, they also reported that he wasn't cleared yet. So we don't know when, but maybe they're not going to give up on this, and they're going to just kind of restart the story. Now, obviously, Eric Young wouldn't be there. They'd have to get 2 more people. Alexa can't, obviously, because of her pregnancy, so they'd have to fill in the blanks. People are saying Nikki Cross. Nikki is a person without really anything going on right now, so obviously, could be her. Well, you can guess and stuff all day long who these people could be. People are saying Rowan. You don't know, but maybe they haven't given up on it yet. So, I think ultimately, now that we've heard this, I think it's good news, especially for people who were hoping that Bray was going to form some kind of a group.
I had a feeling it was going to be some sort of a new faction of some way. But I guess with Bray being sick and all, I guess we'll have to wait and see. And hopefully he'll be cleared soon and he'll be back before SummerSlam or maybe even after SummerSlam, because right now we don't even know when he's going to return. That's a big. That's what's everyone's wondering. When will Bray return? When will be a perfect time for Bray to return? So.
Very, very true.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's an interesting, obviously, scoop from Sean, who I got to meet the other week. Is a lovely man, by the way. And I think there's a lot of really good stuff to sort of dig into there. Eric Young would have been fantastic in that role, of course, and great to see him on television. And obviously, maybe walked away because maybe there wasn't that many, potentially not that much opportunity for him on TV, or as he thought with Vince being back. So I would have loved to have seen it, but personally, like Eric said and a few others in the comments, I'm not a real big fan personally, but this is why I don't book for WWE. I'm not a big fan personally of them doing another Wyatt family. Certainly, maybe doing it in a different way, a different type of faction. Even a different name, but calling it the Wyatt family feels a little off to me. Doing it with other people other than Eric Rowan, who I got to speak to the other week too about Howdy and Bray. Doing it with anybody other than that seems a little odd to me. But Eric Young would have been fantastic in any form with Bray, or just on TV. There's other people. Like I say, I'm hoping that if they do a new Hurt Business and enjoy, and bring in the Street Profits, I also want Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin to be involved in that, because they are, of course, ready-made and fantastic and readily inducted into the Hurt Business, as it were. So if this leads to more television time for some of those members of the Hurt Business, if it leads to more TV time for Bray, for Howdy, then and they want to do the faction thing, then that's cool. But I don't want a Wyatt family Mark II. I want to do personally something a little different. But that's to me. But a really interesting scoop coming out today, and like I say, really timely given the stuff that's coming out this week with Bray and the fact that they've actively promoted the game stuff, which we'll talk about. So a timely scoop and some excellent breaking news, as it were, right here.
Jesse, to answer your question that I saw out in the chat, it was quoted. He said, a new style version of the Wyatt family. Okay. That's exactly what he said.
Jodie.
I'm not going to cry. I feel so bad for Bray because he's the kind of person that he keeps this stuff really close to the cuff. And I can't imagine that he's super happy right now that this is all, coming out. I mean, if he's not upset about it, great. But I don't know. I feel really bad that he got sick and this got kind of sidelined. But now that it's and B, now that it's all out there, and maybe he didn't want people to know that. I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me personally.
I feel bad for him too. I just hope he's doing okay. That's all all of us care, you know. His health is more important than anything. You know, we want him to be okay. We want him to be 100% when he comes back, and he can do anything he wants to do. Tell his story, continue to tell his story. And yes, I feel bad for him too. And hopefully, you know, things get better, and things will get better. Things will get better for him. It will.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that. I know he's the kind of person that doesn't like things to get shared.
No, of course.
He likes people to be surprised, and yeah. So
It's
I don't know.
understandable. That's why I don't like social media. Joe says it many times that you shouldn't pay attention to social media sometimes, because people like to spread rumors or people like to spoil things, and it just ruins the moment. And that's why Bray doesn't like is very quiet about it. He prefers to surprise the fans, surprise the Fireflies, and that's why he's so unique. That's why he's so good at what he does. We weren't expecting. But when he came back in October, we weren't expecting all these puppets to show up out of nowhere. That was mind-blowing. Yeah. Showing all those puppets in human form. And the Fiend, forget it. Everybody went crazy, including me. Everybody went crazy. And then you see the fun house, like things you shouldn't expect. There should be no spoilers. I know it's hard for a lot of fans to do because they're all excited for it, but there should be no spoilers. Should be none of that. Like it should be surprised. Yeah. You know, like how it was back then.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and there's, you know, you guys know this. Like there's things that I know that I haven't shared with people because I could very easily, but I you know, I respect that part of Bray and choose not to. I don't know.
Yeah, respect. You know, respect.
I get, you know, wrestling journalism. It's great. There's so many positives to it, and you know, like Dom said, credit to Sean Ross Sapp. He's one of the best. But I don't know. We get very protective of Bray, and yeah, it just doesn't sit well with me. It's just, I don't know. I can't explain it. It just. I feel bad for him, and I hope that he's not super upset or angry.
Well, I want to come back to a part of the discussion that was taking place in the chat and get everyone's definitive answer. But C Wrestling says it also puts Bray in an impossible situation now. If he scraps the faction plans, fans will want it. If they do it, they'll say Eric would have been better. So yeah. So just coming back to you, Jodie, how do you feel about a Wyatt family, like another version of it, or calling it something else? I know some people in the chat were saying, you know, I'm not really keen on that idea. Same with Dom. Well, how do you feel about that?
I think it depends on how they do it. You know, we've kind of talked about it too, you know, making with Uncle Harper and making him like more of a tribute to Brody. So it just kind of depends on how they do it. I'm not opposed to it. I always thought, even when he had stuff with Alexa, that he was better by himself. He's able to tell stories like nobody else. So I prefer him on, you know, being able to tell that story as the spotlight. And if he remains the spotlight, I'm fine with it. You know, because obviously the Wyatt family was iconic. They're fantastic. But yeah, it just depends on how they do it. I can't imagine Bray letting them do it not the way he would want to.
Yeah. Heard he saying not a Wyatt family 2.0, more of a follower's role personally.
Yeah, like a cult of Wyndham, like we were talking about.
I was thinking the same thing, like a cult. And Bray always mentioned he has it as a title on his Instagram, the Cult of Wyndham. Yep. The Cult of Wyndham. So it could be a cult. It doesn't have to be like another version of the Wyatt family. The Wyatt family is in its own category. Yeah. The Wyatt family is its own category. Cult Wyndham, it could be that's something else. And that could be something great too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think now you know, I feel like that's good discussion to have all around as it relates to what's going on. And honestly, I mean,
I want to
they're
ask
gonna-
Dom this. Like, how do you, like, as being in like wrestling journalism and having that kind of background, are there any circumstances that you're like, I don't know that they should have said that? Like, I want to know how you feel about that.
I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, it's down to your ethics and morals. It's down to where you're at. You know, I think it's a difficult one. You know, you've just got to be true to what you're trying to build and what you're trying to do. You know, people can say what they like about WWE. They can say what they like about people that leave WWE, but it's got to sit right with the person. You know, I'm not, as I've been on record saying, you know, I'm not necessarily a big fan of dirt sheets. I understand if you've got to make your living, that's great. I understand that, but that's not really my vibe. But yeah, I don't know, man. It depends on your ethics and morals and where you're at. Really, that's the short answer to that one. That's a big debate for sure.
that is a big debate.
Yeah,
That
and
is a
maybe
big
I'm
debate.
just feeling that way because it's Bray, and
Yeah, it's difficult again as a fan as well not to have that emotional connection. But you know you've really got to. It's difficult because in those settings, in those circles, you've got to part that emotional connection. You know, I would want to know again. I want to know how Eric Young is and where the story here for me. You know, all respect, of course, to Bray is Eric Young and his emotional state, making that very very big, very very tough decision to leave what would be a very comfortable, I imagine, paycheck to go and pursue his dream in a platform, you know, in a company that has, you know, provided opportunities for many people over the years. So to me, the story here is where Eric Young's head is at and his opinions and thoughts on where WWE's management are. Even still, you know, I'd get something in there about, you know, what was explored with Bray and how, you know, how involved he was or wasn't in that, and whether he agreed with the direction it was going. There's a story to be told there, and Eric Young is the person to be telling that. If anybody can get that out of him, that's a story I would want to read for sure.
Yeah, I'd read that one and
I mean,
read it
Jeff
over and over
Jeff
again.
is the Impact Whisperer, so
I was gonna say similar thing. Like the the thing about it all is, you know, they get this information from sources. You know, who the sources are that leak this stuff, who knows? When we never will. And, you know, they it's like any news journalist has a source. Many times, you know, you're writing years ago on a newspaper and stuff like that. You could never, ever, a lot of times you couldn't quote a source. You couldn't tell anyone who it was because it was just secret information that they're trying to hide from someone. Is it ethical? A lot of times that's in the eye of whoever it is. Is it good to do? No. I mean, in my opinion, like I said, Nicole said it spoils everything, especially for movies, TV, entertainment. It's, you know, it's like someone spoiling the plot of a movie. But yet it happens constantly. Like the entire, I've already seen, and I told you guys, I will read spoilers. I'll spoil myself. I've already seen the script of Deadpool 3. It's out there. It's on 4chan. You can find this stuff. It just gets out. And like Dom mentioned, the whole thing is where this came from. Did they talk maybe a little to Eric Young? And maybe that's where it came from. Now that this stuff is coming out, maybe he mentioned, and one of the sentences they said about him was that part of his release was because of Vince. The other part was creative. So was it something he necessarily didn't want to be involved in? You know, who knows? And like Dom said, maybe someday we'll find out. Maybe he'll talk about it at some point. He's not obligated with WWE anymore, so maybe we will hear. That said, is it fair to Bray? No, because, you know, like everybody was saying, and like C said, and Jodie mentioned it, you know, yeah, it's going to spoil things. And so even if it is upcoming now, everybody's going to expect it. And if it's not and they want it, now they're going to be disappointed. So yes, and of course the wrestler will be disappointed as well because they had that thing they were going to do, and now everything is stopping and going in a different direction. So, you know, to me, I like things when they were simple. When I was growing up, you got news from a wrestling magazine that came out once a month, and that was it. You know, you didn't have access to all this stuff. Unfortunately, we do. And here's the other thing. The ones who make the money off of all this, you know, and I don't begrudge anybody doing what you can do to earn your living. It just is what it is, you know, but they're not going to stop doing it because they're the people that are out there that are giving them the information. So it's going to continue until someone shuts it down from the inside. And I know Triple H made mention that he was trying to make that happen, where it was stopping from, you know, but you can't possibly. These guys could be talking to somebody that's a janitor in an office that just overhears conversations. You're not going to stop it. It's too simple. It's too easy. It gets out there. I mean, the whole entire script of The Force Awakens was spoiled 4 weeks before that happened. It sucks, but it's the world we live in. I wish it weren't the case. And, you know, I wish, because I know everybody here and Jodie herself in this show is dedicated to the man, and everybody wants what's best for him. I know that you all do. And that's why Jodie's done this show week in and week out when Bray hasn't even been around. So everybody just wants him to be okay, and they want him to return and, you know, just do what he loves to do. And then you get all this stuff that just comes out, and, you know, it's, what does the man feel about it? Well, you know, obviously these people who this comes out about don't really care. It's you know, they don't care about the person as much, and that's a shame.
Well said.
Yeah, good discussion. Good
I'm not crying.
You're sure you're okay?
Yep.
I'm sorry, Jodie. I didn't mean to
It's
make
okay.
Oh man. Well, let's
Like you said,
talk
we
about
just-
something. Go ahead.
We just have his we want him to be happy and do what he wants to do, and I just, you know, obviously I don't like know him super, like he's not my best friend or anything, but I know enough of him that I can't imagine that he's super happy about this, and that just it just breaks my heart.
No, we understand.
Yeah. See, Wrestling just made a comment. And he's right. The one good thing, it does get his name out there. He hasn't been around, and it does keep interest. And the fans are always going to have interest. We as fans, the big fans of Bray, are always going to be holding out hope, and they're always going to have the interest. You know, that DLC for the game that's coming out in a couple of days, everybody's going to be talking about. So it's always going to be there from the fans. But the other thing is, it gets maybe other people who knows? Maybe they were fans of Eric Young's, maybe they were fans of Impact, maybe they're fans, you know, of other things. And then you hear this association stuff and everything like that. And who knows? Maybe that will get some more people hyped up about him possibly coming back. So, you know, that could be the bridge at the end of it. And, you know, C mentioned that in his post, saying about hyped about the possibility of a faction. So that's hopefully a saving grace. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about something that's going to be fun, and that's happening this week.
Yeah, let's make me not cry.
Yeah. let's talk about this. You take the time you need. So we're gonna talk about the game, the DLC. Is anyone hyped for that? Just curious.
Question, Jeff? My boyfriend's really excited to download this. He's really excited to play this as Bray Wyatt. He's really excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
who isn't?
I'm wondering how many people are going to be sitting up at whenever their time is that it rolls over and the thing releases, whether it's midnight, 2:30, 3 in the morning, and they're going to be waiting up to do it.
Usually it's like Eastern time. It's like 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because they do it at midnight on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Hopefully they have prepared on the back end to make sure that they have plenty of equipment, backup systems, and systems on top of that to handle all of the downloads that will come in, because that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully there's a system in place.
Mm-hmm.
Dom, what do you think about?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I play games as a as a relaxation tool if I've had a busy week or whatever. And obviously, like I say, it's been a very busy time, very productive recently. So I've been looking forward to this for a long, long time. As a fan of I am a fan of the 2K franchise. A lot of people obviously might not be such a fan of 2K in the last few games, but I've always played it, for a very specific reason, to relax and unwind. So for me, I'm a big fan. I'm actually very excited to play as Joe Gacy, to play as Zeus, and to play as Blair Davenport as well, who is, of course, one of the great prospects from the UK. So I think it's going to be a great, it'll be a great day for game fans, a great day for Bray Wyatt fans. I do stand by. Like I say, I do stand by my theory that we could potentially see something from Bray or hear something from Bray before the end of the month, even if it's just a voice promo or something hyping it. Because the only reason that I say that, I would not have said it if they hadn't have hyped it up, if they hadn't have promoted it on the 2K platforms and on WWE. They've actively promoted both Howdy and Bray being in the game. They sometimes, of course, people leave, people get, people aren't in the game or whatever, so they wouldn't promote it. It would just happen, right? But they are making an actual effort to promote it. Yeah, they are pushing it. So I still think, and I know I'm being optimistic, and I'm aware of that, but I do believe that we could see or hear something from Bray before the end of this month. The Fiend debuted in July. The original Bray debuted in July. Obviously, this is happening. We are in July, so I think there may be something. I'm going to say maybe. I'm not as confident as I was a week ago, but I've made sure Dan's doing Raw tonight, and I know that Sam is doing SmackDown over on Gimme a Hull, yeah. So just so we can catch something if it happens. But I think, I hope it leads to something. But if not, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to have fun playing, particularly as Uncle Howdy, because Uncle Howdy's never had a match. So what's that moveset going to be like? Is it going to be Bo's moveset from previous games? That would be interesting. So yeah, I'm quite excited about it, but I've been a long time fan of the games, and other people I know are not necessarily a big fan of the 2K franchise.
Gotcha. Joe, are you set for this thing?
Yeah, see, the thing is, I can stay up all night because I do anyway. And of course, I'm on vacation, so yeah, I'm definitely. Listen, I'm a gamer. I've done this before. I've stayed up until 4 or 5 in the morning with a good game sometimes. And so yeah, I mean, I went out and bought a hard drive and threw in my PlayStation 5 because I wanted the extra room on it, particularly because I knew I was going to have to be like, okay, I already have Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy on there. I have 2 big games on there now. I'm going to need room. So I already went out and I did that. And but yeah, look, they scored them too. They gave Bray an 89, which seems pretty good. And they gave Uncle Howdy an 84, which is a little surprising to people because, again, he never had a match. So what are they basing it on, like Dom said? But yeah, look, it's going to be fun.
Are they basing it on the person behind the mask?
Correct. Yeah, that's what Dom was alluding to. Yeah, absolutely. You look at, somebody might go and do that, go research what Bo may have been ranked in one of the other games that came out recently when he would have been in it, and check it out. I know people can go find that. But yeah, I'm excited, man. When something's not happening, right? Like, you can almost compare it to what's going on in Hollywood now with the writer's strike and the actor's strike and all that kind of stuff. And things are going to get pushed back with that too. So a lot of things that people are looking forward to, movies and whatnot. Comic-Con's coming up this week, which is huge for movies and stuff that are coming out. And a lot of it's going to get pushed back now. And so what's the best next thing for people to have is something like a game that they could do to kind of keep them occupied until that thing happens. And that's what a lot of times goes on. You'll see these gamers or video game creators and things, they'll do something specifically knowing, okay, we've got a window now before this stuff actually comes out. We're going to get this out there. It's going to be huge because they want, like let's say a Star Wars thing. We're going to put this game out. We know there's no movies coming out for a couple of years. We're going to get it out there because everybody's going to want something. And I think that's what this is similar to. It just gives us as fans something to do, go on the video game. You know, you have Bray Wyatt coming down. You do the entrance. You have your own fantasy bookings. Do the matches that you want to see. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And I'm absolutely looking forward to it. And I agree with Dom and others that said that there is a method to it. They don't do anything for no reason. And remember, the last 2K game that Bray was supposed to be in before before the whole thing happened to him, they didn't put him in it. He wasn't in the game. Mm-mm. So if that were the case, and a lot of people were saying right away, thought the worst and said, oh my gosh, has Bray been released again? Well, that's not the case. Because if it were, he wouldn't be in this game. So that's, it's something to hold on to. And it's some positive out of that. And I know, I'm definitely excited. I'm excited to play it.
All right, I'm going to go to Nicole because I want to save Jodie for last because it's going to coincide with something that Dom said. And I know Jodie had a theory about all of this a while back. So I want to give that opportunity to her. Nicole, I know you said your boyfriend is really excited.
Yes, we're both. I'm obviously excited because, finally, getting Bray Wyatt on the game, and then Uncle Howdy being a part of it as well, getting his own entrance. You were able to play as him and kick ass with him and Bray Wyatt. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it, as all of us are. All of us Fireflies are, especially that Bray's been away for a while. He's missed by a lot of that's another thing. When some fans online that say that he is not missed, they're full of shit. Because obviously there's so many fans that include everyone here in Abby's window that he is missed tremendously. And them promoting him being a part of 2K and along with Uncle Howdy, a lot of people are excited for it. But it's like what Joe said, with this being released soon, something's bound to happen in real life.
Yep.
I'm also like Dom. I'm very optimistic. I have to, because if I don't, I'm going to lose my mind. I have to.
See the comments in the chat though. Like you'll notice like what EJ just said and stuff. I haven't bought a game in a while. I haven't been interested in buying games, but now I'm gonna. And they'll see that. Mm-hmm. It's the same as merch sales.
Yep.
They will see that. And if this game all of a sudden, now this game's been out for a while. So all of a sudden, if the interest in this game peaks and all of a sudden shoots up in a sales platform again, which they can see, gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, you definitely know why.
Oh yeah. Hanzo sent a super chat earlier and I missed it, and I'm sorry. I need to do better. Thank you for the super chat. He says, at the end of the day, Wyndham does what he wants. Where he goes, what he does is down to him. Trust me, he'll be fine. Life is a circle, folks.
He's right.
Thank you for that comment. Again, I'm sorry. I missed it.
They're talking fast today, so I'm not.
Yeah. So I apologize. I suck at my job. All right.
Don't.
So Jodie, I want you to talk a little bit about your theory that you have, because Dom did make mention that he feels like we'll see something by the end of the month. Talk a little bit about your theory that you had before, and do you think we're closer to that?
I mean, I definitely think we're closer. They can't, like he said, you can't promote the hell out of this DLC and not do anything with Bray. It just wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. So, I mean, I said a couple months ago, just keep your eye on SmackDown and Raw around this DLC, because even if he may not be cleared to wrestle, which I don't know the accuracy of that, that applies to in-ring action, not promos, not talking. And, I could see him doing a video package or QR code or something around this DLC tonight, Friday, because it wouldn't make sense if they didn't.
Yeah.
Promoting it, like, you have to follow it up. You have to follow through. You have to finish the job.
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. That was not a very clean way to say that, but you got to finish the job.
Yeah, I think it also bodes well for Bo Dallas's continued employment, which is, that Uncle Howdy is in the game, which clearly means they either had plans, hopefully they still have plans, to have Uncle Howdy wrestle at some point. What is that attire going to look like when that jacket comes off and that hat comes off in the game? What's that going to be like? And is that going to give us a hint, just like Bray's attire? As to what he'll be wrestling in if he comes back and wrestles. So I was actually most surprised and most pleased. Not only did we get it, we're finally getting Zeus in a game. Tally Lister was a great representative of the wrestling business back in the day, in many ways anyway. And I think. Just going to be great to see Uncle Howdy and perform as Uncle Howdy. Of course, we're all excited about Bray, and I think that's what's also cool. If our theories are correct, and of course our theories aren't always correct, is that Uncle Howdy is potentially coming back. If they're plugging Uncle Howdy, they've gone through all the effort to produce his entrance, do the whole weird thing that they put all that into place and everything, then clearly they've got some faith in that character and they want to do something with it. So it'd be kind of a shame, I think, to bring him out on the DLC and then we get Bo Dallas back, which would be fine anyway. I'd be okay with it. It because obviously Bo still has a job. But I want to see this Uncle Howdy stuff play out. I really do, and I know a lot of people, even people here have said they want a return to cult leader Bray or something quicker. And obviously I've even said that on here before. But the one thing I will always say is that Uncle Howdy, I want to see this character fleshed out because the music is great, the vibe, the whole mannerism is great. Clearly, there's been some discussion on mannerisms, on look, on aesthetic. So I'm excited to see that, and I'm actually most interested in playing with Uncle Howdy at this time. But I'm also excited, of course, for Bray. But let's hope that it leads to more Uncle Howdy on TV and more Bray on TV sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, they could do, if Bray isn't cleared, then maybe Howdy's cleared. You can do promos with Howdy and teasing Bray coming back. I mean, you never know.
Here's an interesting question here from Charlie French, and I'll start with you, Jody. The question is, do you guys think Bray is the person Baron Corbin met in the woods on NXT? He could replace Eric Young. What do you all think about that? We'll start with you, Jody.
I wouldn't mind that. We did have that White Rabbit promo, remember, that pointed to Corbin, Kentucky, and nobody really knew why. Long time ago.
Yeah, I remember that. It
was like a zip code, and it went to Corbin, Kentucky, and we were like, Corbin, Kentucky? What? I don't know. I think Corbin needs to go back to his lone wolf stuff and really, really push that because it was great. But yeah, I mean, anything's possible at this point. I wouldn't put it past Bray at all.
Nicole, we'll come to you next.
Well, like I've said before, he could pop up anywhere. It doesn't just have to be Raw or SmackDown. If it is possible with that Baron Corbin clip, it's possible that Bray could appear in NXT, where we first met Bray Wyatt, where it all started. Well, technically it started in FCW, but when he started to work in WWE and NXT, I wouldn't be surprised if he came back in NXT. So,
I mean, they are trying to get NXT to be that third show.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the push that NXT would get if Bray was on NXT.
So, I mean, it's like Jody said, it's possible. Anything could happen. But, we don't know.
we just want Bray back.
So it's a mystery. And I like mysteries.
Mm-hmm. It's like a book. It's like a really good book.
It is.
It should go in a book.
Said it. If Bray ever writes a novel, that thing's going to sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
His own horror story. It doesn't even have to be about
No.
a biography of him and his wrestling career. It could make his own horror story, whatever it is, like we never heard of before. And it would sell like hotcakes.
Oh, yeah.
See Wrestling says start the Wyatt faction on NXT, start Lashley's on SmackDown, then Clash.
Like,
Right.
my
Dom, your
Yeah.
thoughts, my friend.
Yeah, so NXT and a return to NXT isn't the death knell that people think it is, and certainly people have thought it is in the last few years. You got Mustafa Ali finding a reinvigoration there now. Obviously, Baron Corbin being on there, and he is back to his lone wolf gimmick. I think he's got the old music back and stuff. If Bray did go back, I wouldn't be against it at all. You know, everything is a circle, etc., etc. You know, if Bray did go back to NXT and took Uncle Howdy with him, or Uncle Howdy was even on a different brand, you know. Like I think they were teasing that, you know, that Uncle Howdy could be on Raw and SmackDown before. So, but even if Uncle Howdy went back to NXT with Bray, I'd be absolutely fine with that. It is where we saw Bray for the first time. You know, the circle would be complete, etc. So
rewriting the story.
Yeah, absolutely. We're rewriting the story from the ground up. It would give Bray another, to the end of his career potentially, to get back to the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe that's or to the top of the card. But from NXT, it would give him years and years of storyline going back. I mean, I'm being like, in an ideal world fantasy booking, we go back to NXT and then he goes back to the main roster and takes over again. I'm sure it'll be much quicker than that, and we would only see Bray on NXT for a short period of time. But I wouldn't be against it at all. Look at what it's done for Baron Corbin. Look at what it's done for there's lots and lots. Dolph Ziggler. There's examples of people that have gone back to NXT and really, really revamped themselves. And I'd be very, very happy to see that. We could, maybe he brings Joe Gacy up with him, and Joe Gacy is in that faction, or that group rather.
Yeah, because how many times have we talked about Joe Gacy being?
He's also in the DLC with him.
He is in the DLC with him. Yes. And sadly, because I do believe they are one of the best tag teams in the world, of course, grizzled young veterans. To be they're good. I think they requested their release and they'll be going September time, something like that. If that is the case, I believe it's been granted. So, Joe Gacy and the Rock's daughter, they're going to be hanging around. So, what do you do? Let's. I mean, this is all, of course, as ever. This is all me.
You could replace Eric Young and Alexa with those two.
You could absolutely, and I've been, there are other examples too. Like I say, people have talked about it in the comments. I always love when Albert Fire and Isla Dawn's name come in to these conversations. I've been able to speak to Isla, and Isla's a fantastic personality, and it would be great to see her with Bray. So I think, and obviously another great example of what NXT can do. In terms of building your stock, with those guys coming up. So I don't think if Bray goes to NXT, it is the end or a step down. It's certainly not a step down anymore as it may have been a few years ago, So I'd be quite excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's thanks to, to Triple H. He's an NXT guy. So you can definitely see them trying to make Raw, NXT, and SmackDown on the same level, and I like it.
Yeah.
True.
Joe.
I mean, Seth Rollins was just there, right? I mean, Apollo Crews. Look, it's not what it used to be. It's not they're trying to really spotlight that show. It's been some great wrestling from there, and again, like Dom mentioned, like Jody, it's coming full circle. And that's what Bray always talks about. It's always back to that circle with him. And so you're going back full circle. And then imagine, hangs out down there for a little bit, kind of like the New Day did, right? They went down there, won the titles, they held them for a little bit, came back up. And imagine if he hangs out down there for a little bit and does what he's going to do. And then, maybe he cuts a promo or two while he's down there and said, the last time I was here, I had a mentor that was mentoring me, and that was my sponsor. And, he didn't treat me all that well. And then maybe they have a built-in feud with Bray Wyatt and Cody Rhodes. And head back up to the main roster. I mean, you could go right back to, again, like I said, everything.
That would be a really cool story.
He doesn't forget things. Everything with him comes back full circle. And so you do a little bit of that. You have him down there. And like I said, like Dom said, it's certainly not a death knell. What if it would happen, people would be all over the internet. Oh my God, they sent him back to NXT. You'll see it everywhere, but it's not what it was. When you've got the champion from WWE going down there to wrestle, you can't come out and say that. Because yes. Are they trying to spotlight that show? Sure. And who better to spotlight that show? Do you not think that their reviews would go up if Bray Wyatt was on that show?
Yep.
Kinda.
Would shoot up.
Kinda.
Just a little.
So I'd be perfectly all right with that. If he goes down and he gets Joe Gacy and whoever else and he starts recruiting, I'm all good with that. I don't get to watch NXT much. I have other things I do on Tuesday, but I'll tell you, I would make it a point.
And let me ask you something. Isn't NXT on Wednesdays?
Tuesdays.
On Tuesdays. Damn it. Because isn't the release of Bray Wyatt's thing on Wednesday?
Yes.
Can you imagine if it was on Wednesday, though?
Like I say, I think we could still see something this week, next week. So, it would still coincide. People will still be buying that. People will be buying that on Wednesday, and they'll be buying it for many, many weeks to come. So, it's not gonna. They're not short on time. To use it as ammunition to bring Bray back.
Yeah.
So.
It'll all work out, Fireflies. Just keep your heads up.
That's right.
Keep your heads up. I don't think Bray would want you to give up either, on yourselves especially.
Well, and of course, he's not. You know what I mean? Like it obviously, whatever has happened, we've seen a couple things of him being out and about, so that's a great thing. Again, it was like the whole thing that happened with Bayley, last night, or when we were talking about that. And that's horrible. I mean, Bayley was out already with a knee injury for God knows how long, over a year, and now she gets this freak thing happen to her on a house show, and it looks as if it's not as bad. They didn't get the report yet, but it looks as if, at least from her standpoint, that it may not be as bad. But with him, obviously, what he went through was bad enough, and this is what you have to keep in mind. Whatever it is, it was bad enough to keep him out for this length of time. So the one thing you have to hope is that, number one, he's okay, right? That's the most important thing going forward. Number one, he's okay, because he's a family man. He's gonna be married. He has children. He's got to be around for a good long time for his family and his kids, let alone wrestling fans, right? And then if he's cleared, because obviously whatever is keeping him out, he's got to be cleared for. If he's cleared, awesome, and he's ready to come back, awesome. We'll be ready. But that's what you got to keep in mind. And all those people that are out there that are being impatient, that are oh my God, why isn't it? You've got to just take it easy and let it run its course, and he'll be back.
He's a human being. He goes through things no different than any other human being has gone through. It's no different. And if he's going to be out for a little bit to make sure that I said it, I'd rather him come back being 100% than him coming back 99% and then, God forbid, him getting worse than he was before. So,
you know what? Caleb said something in our interview similar to that. He got sick at the end of the UK tour.
See?
And he was talking about, he said the worst thing you can do as a singer is push your voice when you aren't 100%. And he talks a little bit about that, about pushing your voice as a performer. And you know, it just, you physically can't do it when you're sick and you're not 100% with your voice. You physically can't because your voice sounds worse.
So
he said you have to rein it in based on how you're feeling. And he said, you know, he was like, at the end of that tour, everybody was sick.
Yeah, listen, guys, Bray's an athlete. It doesn't matter if you're playing football, basketball, baseball, or you're a wrestler. It's athletics. And if something is preventing him from being cleared, it's something that a doctor won't allow him to do because, you know, for his own health. And that's the bottom line. It's just like if you guys, a lot of you guys in the chat watch sports, guys and gals watch sports. If you're a sports fan and your favorite person on a football team goes down, they can't get pushed out there until they're cleared to go. So that is the thing. There is something that is keeping them from clearing him. And until that happens, he cannot go. So you don't want him pushed out there and not be ready to go. That's the whole thing. God forbid something worse happens. So that's absolutely it. They're watching out for him. And
being smart.
You gotta consider.
And they may just be being cautious. He may feel great, you know, and be like, I'm ready to go, but you know, maybe he's got to get that ring dust off, and maybe he's not ready to perform at that high level yet. And maybe they're just being cautious. Maybe he is ready, and they just want to give him a little bit longer, just to make sure, because. If something happens and he gets sick again, he may be out for longer.
Better safe than sorry. So
I think because we watch this, we see this on a screen. We know it's not necessarily real, but I think a lot of us, and Jeff can speak to it more than anyone else can, we do not see the behind the scenes. We do not know what's going on and how much these guys actually do to their bodies. We don't get that because we're not privy to it. Jeff will tell you taking a single bump hurts like hell. I know another guy who wrestled a little bit too around this area. Of course, never in the big leagues, but he showed me a wrestling ring. You are falling on plywood. It is not padded. There are no pads. It's not even there's not even like wrestling mats that amateurs wrestle on. They wrestle on mats. These guys are falling on plywood. So if you're not 100% ready to go, they can't let you go in there. It's too easy to get hurt. You can just fall and get hurt. And then let alone doing dives off the top rope or dives through a table or all that.
I was just about to say, Joe, you're talking about your run-of-the-mill 9-to-5 bump. You're not talking about the ones where you're outside, where you're taking a bump off of something, where you're. It's just people just don't understand how grueling it is, how taxing it is on your body, and then you take WWE wrestlers who do it at all of these live events, house shows, different things, that many days of the year, and then you multiply that by the number of years they've been in the business.
Yeah, man.
It takes a toll on your body.
Yeah, like you hear wrestlers that talk about it, and Dom's interviewed a lot of people, you hear them talk about their early days in the business. And, one wrestler I was just reading recently, it was a woman wrestler. I can't remember the name, but she had said when she started her training, her first day, she was in a bathtub in ice for the next 6 or 7 hours. So think about that. That's what you have to consider here. They are not going out there and acting. They are not going out there and pretending to move. Sure, they're not getting punched in the face, but they're still falling on wooden stuff. They're falling on the floor. They're taking bumps. And this is, if you're not 100% and you're not ready to go, you just can't be in there. So that's what I think.
You've got to have that endurance and lung capacity to be able to
absolutely
that level. So and if he's not there yet, I say that to people who ask me like, well, is wrestling really real? My response is always, it's scripted, but the athleticism is real.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
We've seen pictures that remember that picture Drew McIntyre posted where he had like red lashes all over his back, and and Finn Balor like cut his head open and had to have
literally.
Like the athleticism in this is very, very real, and they can get hurt very, very easily. And you know, if he's not ready, if that endurance isn't there, he can't do it yet.
Yep. Absolutely.
Very well put. Very well.
Absolutely.
Let's see. We've got Hanzo here with another super chat saying Joe makes a good point. In the Fiend versus Strowman, for the championship, Fiend pulls up the plywood and hit his sister Abigail on it. That ain't no bouncy castle. No, it's not.
Nope.
I've only seen that like because we went to, you know, I sat ringside once, and it's not. There is no padding there. It's
zero.
It is not a bouncy castle. It really, like, they are hitting that thing hard. Like when you're sitting ringside, you can feel it. Like when they hit it, you can feel it. Like, and it was like, oh. Like
go out to the local Lowe's, buy yourself a pretty good sized piece of 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch plywood, and dive off of that from a higher height up. You know, get yourself a little bit of height and dive onto it. See how good you feel after you do that one time.
Go to a wrestling place and ask them to give you a bump, like a real bump. And
we're not saying
we're not telling you to do that. No,
and
don't try this at home.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, please don't do that. But I'm making a point.
Don't try this at home. And yet,
we do have younger people watching, so obviously we don't want you diving out on plywood. Don't say Joe went and told me to dive on plywood, because no, I did not. But I'm just making a point. But yeah, thanks, Tom. It's just making a point. But you know,
we do not promote that.
Yes, no. Don't promote diving onto plywood. It's not a good thing.
We're just saying we're just explaining that they're not jumping off a bed.
Right.
They're jumping onto literally.
It's not trampolines. Yeah, it ain't trampolines.
It ain't trampoline. It's not a trampoline. No difference. A big difference. You're gonna feel that with that fall. You're gonna feel. I mean, I've never jumped onto a ring like that, but I've seen it up close, and shit.
I've heard just the ropes are uncomfortable.
The ropes, the ropes. If you hit on the ropes, that shit's gonna sting. It's gonna sting.
I'm laughing at C Wrestling's comment.
I'm laughing at that too. I know exactly what he's talking about.
You can try when you can.
The worst interview ever. Yes, that's a wonderful memory.
Oh boy. Oh, I needed that laugh for a minute. I needed that. So thank you, C. You watch those videos too, Jesse? Do you watch? You watch his videos too? Okay, now I don't feel so bad. All right. So we're gonna wrap this episode up and give some final thoughts and what everyone is up to coming up. So we'll start with Dom, and then we'll go Nicole, and then Joe, and then Jodie.
All right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure to be back. I haven't been here because we had a very busy few weeks, obviously doing the Money in the Bank work, and then obviously lots of stuff promoting Impact, heading into Slammiversary and other stuff too. So it's, and there's a lot of really exciting stuff coming to WrestleSphere, so keep an eye on that if you've not subscribed to WrestleSphere. And obviously WrestleSphere.com. You can see the work of Jeff and Jodie there as well. So we're building a family of our own at WrestleSphere. So if you want to get involved, let us know. And that's exciting. Obviously, give me a whole year. We're still doing the more chilled out wrestling streams and stuff. Well, I say we. I mean, I've slacked off, you know. So now it's Dan handles the Monday nights, and Anthony handles Wednesdays, and Sam handles Fridays. So go and support them if you fancy. Go and subscribe to Give Me a Whole Year. Support the team and give them some love. Because I'm lazy and I'm glad I showed up here. You know, I love you guys. Not that I don't love them, but you know what I mean. It's nice to be back on streams. There's some exciting stuff coming up. I've got some really cool guest spots coming, so I'll keep you posted. But for now, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for anyone that supports the work that we've been doing. You know, interviews we've been doing, whatever it is. You know, I really, really appreciate it. We couldn't do this stuff. It wouldn't be worth doing it without you guys and without the Insiders community that's always been so awesome to me. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dom. Good to have you back this week, buddy. Yeah, no art this week, Jeremy, but it will be back next week. Nicole.
Well, first thing before I give my final thoughts on Bray Wyatt, I sent 2 links to the chat, and anyone who has kids and they love books and they love to read, I illustrated a children's book. It's called Whiskers the Mouse, Child Story of Kindness. It's available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. It's a beautiful story. It teaches children how to be kind, and it features an adorable mouse, and it teaches a great lesson.
It's cute.
Yeah.
My kids love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jodie. I'm glad that they love it. He's absolutely an adorable mouse. And there are more stories that are going to come out after Whiskers. The second one's going to feature a squirrel named Charlie that teaches children how to share. And I will keep you guys posted when that will be released. It should be released before the summer ends. Now, getting to Bray Wyatt. So like I said before, don't lose hope. Like the release of the DLC of the Wyatt package is going to be released in a couple days. So for that, like Joe said earlier too, they don't do this stuff for no reason. They don't just release the Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy being part of this game for nothing. So something in reality, something will come about, either Raw, SmackDown, or maybe even NXT, like we mentioned earlier. So keep an eye out. That's it.
Awesome.
Joe.
Go buy Nicole's book.
Yes, go buy it.
It's so cute.
Thank you.
It's adorable. It's a cute, little. It's short enough that you can read it as a bedtime story.
This will be the only mouse you will fall in love, guys. The only mouse that you will fall in love with.
It was really cute.
I mean, besides Mickey Mouse, but that's different.
Right.
Mickey's been around for a good long time.
True.
Yeah.
Right now he's in the front line, but you know what I mean. Whiskers the Mouse is still fresh, but hopefully it gets bigger as time passes. But I'm sure it will. It will.
It's cute. It's a very cute little book.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Joe.
All right. So, as you all know, we've all been doing some smaller videos for the channel. So, obviously, shout out to Jodie doing the Bray stuff that she was doing. She's got that interview video that's premiering tomorrow. So, make sure you
Wednesday.
Checking that Wednesday. Sorry, I get my days mixed up. Wednesday. Thank you. I've got my Raw review. I'll be doing that video wise this week. No live. It'll just be a video that'll come out tomorrow. So check that out. Of course, we're trying to get these little videos done. Jeff has his coming soon, which is about the psychology of wrestling. So you want to make sure to check that out from the Impact Whisperer. He kind of knows what he's doing. So make sure you give that a watch. And then, of course, we'll be back. I'll be back on Thursday with Jeff for Impact Wrestling, which is going to be huge after the events of Slammiversary and the return of Josh Alexander and everything else that went down. So you don't want to miss that. We've also got Santino Marella versus Dango in that as well. So Don't want to miss that episode. And then, of course, 2 pay-per-views coming up. So we're going to be doing SummerSlam, which will be our first WWE one for a bit because we couldn't do the other ones because of time. And then we have a couple Impact pay-per-views that are coming right around the road too. Multiverse 2 and one more, which I forget the name, escapes me right now, but they're almost kind of back-to-back in August. So lots of stuff going on. Thank you, Jeff. Emergence, yes. So obviously make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and hit the notification button to be notified about when all this content is coming out so you're in the know. Also, yes, I saw somebody mention in the chat, send us over, if you're playing 2K23, send us over some pictures. If you have matchups and stuff you're doing, send the pictures over. You can send them to our DMs, send them to our Gmail. It's insiderswrestlingpod@gmail.com. They can be used for Abby's next week. So send those over to us. I'll share some of them on Twitter that I get as well. Would love to know what you guys are doing with that. So do that also. And I'll be on there as well in the next couple of days. So have fun with it.
All right, Jodie, take it away. Thank you, Joe.
I'm going to get a little real with you guys. So the reason that we don't have art today and why I haven't really been doing videos past week or so, I had a procedure on Thursday. I had an epidural steroid injection in my back, and I'm having surgery in August on my back. They're removing part of my disc. But when I had all of this issues going on and had this flare up in my leg, my doctor increased my pain medicine, and I was taking it twice a day. They increased it to 4 times a day. And I pretty much, like, increasing it like that, I pretty much lost myself. My husband can attest to this. I was not me at all. It was hard. And, you know, I obviously I work with substance abuse, and I kind of recognized it. And I didn't cut myself off like cold turkey from it or anything like that, because obviously I do need it for my leg. But I tried to cut it down to, you know, taking it 1 time a day, and it was hard. It was really, really hard. And I have so much more understanding for what these patients go through in substance abuse when they're detoxing, because it was awful. I couldn't sleep. At night, and then ended up sleeping during the day. I was nauseous. I mean, it was awful. Anyway, so I have spent the past pretty much since Thursday in bed, not doing anything. Today was actually the first day that I got out of bed. So thank you, Caleb, for that, for getting me out of bed today. So I'm kind of too much of a go-getter sometimes. I go a little bit too gung-ho on things. So going from, you know, taking it 4 times a day to taking it once a day was probably a little bit too overkill. So I've gotten back to taking it twice a day, and I'm feeling a lot better. But yeah, that increase, I was not myself. I wasn't saying that I wasn't a zombie. I wasn't me. I had a completely different personality. And, you know, like I said, my husband can attest to that. Like, I wasn't me. And, you know, I'm super, super thankful that God really put that on my heart, to recognize that and, you know, make sure I didn't get to the point, because if I would have kept going, you know, I'm on a lot of other medications too. I could have died. I mean, I keep Narcan in my house because of all the stuff that I'm on right now. So I'm here because God really put that on my heart, that I needed to work through some of the pain instead of trying to hide it and just cover it up. So yes, I'm having some pain, but I'm feeling a lot better than I was. I'm trying to kind of, you know, work through the pain and not just, like I said, just not cover it up and just make it go away. So feeling a lot better today. Back to just, you know, taking it twice a day if I need it. But yeah, I just didn't have the energy to go look for art. I mean, I got a lot of DMs over the past few days, like asking if I was okay, because I wasn't really talking. I wasn't responding to DMs and messages and text messages. Like, I just didn't do anything. So yeah, I'll end it on a good note. When I had this flare up on my leg and had to go to the emergency room and all that fun stuff, I had to take some unpaid time off work. So I was going to miss half of this past paycheck. I missed half a paycheck because I wasn't at work. And, we weren't really sure how we were going to manage that. Obviously, we're a single income household. Chris is a stay-at-home dad and I work, but we weren't really sure how we were going to make up the other half, because I do make decent money, and losing half of it's a big deal. So, we were just, we prayed about it, and God's always done that. Like when we've been short, it's just been there. Like somehow it just works out. And I love that. So, but it, it always tends to work out, but there's never been that like super punch in the face. I got you. You know what I mean? And today, literally in the mail, almost exactly what I was missing on my paycheck, a check in the mail from our mortgage company saying that we had overpaid our escrow last year. And it was literally almost exactly what I was missing because I was off. And that was really, I love that. Like, that was really like, I needed that today. Like I woke up and that was the first thing that Chris said. He goes, "You're not going to believe what happened." And I said, "Oh no." And he goes, no, it's a good thing. And he shows me this check for over $1,000. And I'm like, just random in the mail, just happened to, and it was dated like sometime in June, and it just showed up today.
Jodie,
So,
God is good.
All
And
the
he hears your prayers, and he knows that not only are you a tough cookie, but you deserved it. You deserve all the good that has happened. You got an interview with Caleb. You got that awesome, beautiful check. Listen, you guys are going to be good. You are good.
So yeah, I love it when God punches you in the face like that. And I told Caleb today, I said, every time that I've talked to you, there's been some kind of career change going on in my life. And I'm going through that. I said, literally talking to you today, I'm going through a potential career change again. And he just kind of laughed because, obviously my position disappeared where I'm at, and they let me stay on as a floor nurse at the same rate of pay. So I've been like not actively looking. I've been kind of looking at stuff that might be a good fit for me. I really want to stay working with detox patients and substance abuse and psych. It's just, I love it. So I've just been kind of, applying to some things that kind of look interesting. But know that I'm content where I'm at unless I feel led to go somewhere else. So I had a couple of interviews, two interviews at the same place last week, that really felt like a good fit. So I'm supposed to hear something about that towards the end of this week, but yeah, it's been a rough week. But I'm here and I love you guys, and God provides, and there you go.
I was just gonna say, you said it's been a rough week, but in the last couple of days, God has really shown up in a major way, and that's such a blessing, and that hopefully that's an encouragement to others that may be going through a tough time as well, to know that you can see God doing it in other people's lives. He can do it in yours too, and it's gonna happen. Just keep praying, keep I won't preach tonight, but anyway, thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Thank you, Jodie, for sharing. We really appreciate you all joining us. This is a big family, so things are going to be a little bit different from time to time. So we have
sometimes I'm gonna cry.
yeah, and we're going to have these conversations that don't always necessarily stay on subject matter, but they're all good conversations to have, and they need to be had. So Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Dom. Thank you, Nicole. Joe, enjoy Raw tonight and in the next few days of your vacation.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit envious. I must say, a little
I
bit envious.
will. I will, man. It's going to be fun. Oh, and keep obviously Jodie, keep her in your thoughts and in your prayers and good and positive vibes. And also, if you could keep Shotzi's sister as well.
Yes.
In those, I shared Karrion Cross's tweet. If you can, I'm not telling you to, but if you can go and there is a page where you could donate to her also. So obviously, keep her in your thoughts as well.
Shotzi is a badass.
Yes, she
She
is.
is a badass.
Yep.
And prayers to her sister.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you can help out, even if it's small, I'm sure anything is greatly appreciated.
Yep.
I know a lot of people's lives, and again, I'm gonna try my best not to get emotional here, but a lot of people's lives have been affected by cancer, in some way, shape, or form. I lost both of my parents to cancer, and anytime that I see someone going through, even if I only have $1, I'll try to do the dollar or something, because I was there when my mom was going through chemo and having a rough time and driving up and down the road, and insurance isn't what it's supposed to be sometimes. So, and I know a lot of people have you've seen your family or friend go through it. So yeah, those stories always touch me, and it's just something that I didn't share on social media because I'm not active, but whenever my mom was going through chemotherapy, I used to do the same thing with my mom. I'd shave the rest of her hair down that had fallen out, and then I'd take the clippers to my head and I'd shave my head with her. So
You're a good son.
I appreciate
Oh God.
Keep going now, Jeff.
So just know that when I saw it, I immediately knew that was a tribute. And so yeah, I'm gonna stop before I start needing tissues over here. But
You got me and Nicole going now.
I know. But thank you all so much for joining us this evening. We greatly appreciate it. We love you all. Thank you so much for your support. And tonight, if you're going to a Raw watch along, I know there are a couple out there. Give me a whole yeah. Tazzy's got one on his channel, so go check them out. Show some love, and if you got multiple devices, do multiple devices. We encourage that. So
there you
go. Support good people. Support good people. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time on Abby's Window. Take care.
So what do you say? You want to see my secret?